Hey, this is Cael from Real Life, Real Beauty.
And this is Noah from A Cup of Film.
And today, we're here with Timothy David Conley, a filmmaker and published photographer with a passion for storytelling.
And we're talking about classic films as well as his latest award-winning short film, Happy Non-Entity, and the movie-making process.
Thanks for joining us on our collaborative episode. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
Hi, Timothy.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here. This is very cool.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Exciting.
So, Noah, you were going to start us off. You were going to ask Timothy about a film that he's seen in theaters, but he has not been to theaters.
I've been to some theaters.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Okay.
We haven't seen the same things.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
biggest issue.
You haven't seen any of the John Wick films?
No.
If you're going to watch any of them, at least just watch the first one, because it is an art piece. It's very entertaining. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
I guess it's just kind of like a big task, because I know I'm going to want to either watch all four or be told, like, hey, you got to watch the rest of them. You've seen them now,
The first one is built as an isolated story, though. It doesn't
Okay.
set up another story. So
Mhm.
you could technically watch the first one and then never touch them again. You could, because that's how it was built. It was technically an indie film, and then when William Dafoe joined and everything, they actually got like a budget. So
Okay.
yeah, very good movie.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out. But I guess since we can't really talk John Wick due to my inability to actually turn it on, classic films. Hit me with your top three favorite.
Top three classic. Okay, define a classic film. Like what?
Okay.
Is like '90s classic, or are we putting like max to like '89?
I think Max being the 80s definitely, but past like film noir in the 40s, like
Okay.
between 40s and then.
Okay, well you got like Godfather Part 2 is probably number one up there. Obviously, I love The Godfather, but I want to make all my things Coppola films, so I should probably think of other ones.
Ooh, Apocalypse Now is a good one if you're talking about that.
Do you like? Have you seen the Redux version, the full? Like,
Yes, I have
Do
the
you
full.
like that one or the regular theatrical better? Because I like the theatrical cut better because I think I forget his name, but the main character's actual arc makes more sense in the theatrical cut.
Yeah, I don't know. I love more substance. Like, you know what I mean? Like it lasts like I think
It's long.
2 hours and 50 minutes or something.
Yeah,
It's pretty lengthy. I do like the Redux version. I turn that on whenever I have the Redux on DVD. I don't
Really?
actually have the theatrical cut on DVD. So,
Okay, very cool. So Godfather Part 2,
mhm.
The Conversation. I love The Conversation by
Ye-
Coppola.
I love The Conversation because Gene Hackman is such an underrated actor.
And I love Harrison Ford's part too. It's very small.
It's so
but
small.
He does such a good job, and it's very different from what he usually does.
Yeah, and it was before Star Wars, so like again, he was a carpenter, as everybody likes to say, prior to that Han Solo role.
It was good. He did good. And then Dog Day Afternoon was probably the third
Okay,
one.
see, I've not seen that, but I love Pacino,
Dude, it's one of his
and
best.
I love Kazali. I don't know how to say his last name.
He's phenomenal.
He died soon
Yeah,
after
yeah.
that. He did. I think his last film was Deer Hunter
Yeah.
with
Pretty much every
Meryl
movie
Streep.
he's in, the few he was in, were all great.
Yeah, he has such a good little like repertoire of films prior to his death. Like he really went out on a high note.
Kale has no idea what we're talking
I
about.
have no idea
He
what
is
you're talking
completely
about
lost, but-
at all.
So that'd be probably three. But like good. Right now, my mood probably changed, and I'd say different ones. But right now, that's a good three.
I get that. Like my mood will change, and like my top 3 or top 5 will change every few months, but it'll still kind of be the same 5,
I
10
feel that. I
movies.
feel that. Yeah.
Um,
Definitely. 100%.
yeah, I guess like top 3 for me. I love Psycho. I'm a huge Psycho fan. I think Psycho's probably the best horror film.
It's
in
set a
total,
foundation for a lot.
It built the slasher genre, and not only that, but I consider it a cult film. I know it's kind of controversial when you
Really?
talk about that.
I guess that makes sense. It's just so popular.
It is, but it wasn't a popular concept when it came out. I guess
That's
that's
fair.
that's,
That's fair.
how I kind of
Yeah.
rationalize it being cult.
Yeah, really big cult.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love Hitchcock too. Like I don't know if you've ever seen Alfred Hitchcock Presents, but I love his TV special. It's like hour-long specials like The Twilight Zone, like 10 years before The Twilight Zone came out, like
That's
1954.
cool.
It's really
I
good
gotta watch
stuff.
this now.
Yeah, it comes on like in the middle of the night on CBS,
Let's go.
like Me TV or something like
Wow.
that, you know. But yeah, Psycho, The Godfather Part 2 is better than the first Godfather. I stand by that statement. And then Apocalypse Now, because Apocalypse Now, I think, is overall Coppola's best film. Just, I don't know. I love that one personally.
It's crazy to think in any other film that has that kind of horrible production,
Yes.
it does not end up well usually. And yet he made a masterpiece out of the horror. He kind of went through his own Apocalypse Now. Have you seen the documentary that his wife filmed on it?
No, I
It's
haven't.
on Prime, I think.
Okay.
I think it might be named after the book, like In the Heart of Darkness or something like that.
Okay.
But she was filming the entire time,
Mhm.
and then the studio came together, got her footage, and had her narrate over it a little
Yeah.
45-minute thing, breaking down all the horrible things that happened, and it's crazy how it actually came out so well, and yeah, it's wild.
That is crazy. I don't know. I love Francis Ford Coppola. My biggest issue as far as like his films is I don't like The Outsiders. Not a fan of The Outsiders. I don't know. I just feel like it's a little bit too much. I love Rumblefish though, and
I've
there's
seen Rumblefish.
you haven't. I love Rumblefish. Rumblefish is like The Outsiders, just a little bit more theatrical.
Okay.
It's really
he took
good.
a different tone after Apocalypse Now. Everything he kind of became a different filmmaker.
He
almost.
really did.
Yeah.
He shifted away from not necessarily violence, because you still see violence in his films, but he definitely made everything more
Tonally,
wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't feel as isolated or alienated like his original films.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm excited. Well, I don't even know if it's going to happen, but Megapolis, whenever it,
Yes.
which like the production on that is going crazy right now. Everybody's quit, and like it's so. I hope it gets made. I'd love it to be that thing, but
It really would turn out nice if it did,
well,
but
hopefully, but we'll see. But Cael, do you got like any old movies you like?
I saw It's a Wonderful Life.
That's good.
It was really
hey,
good.
that is a really good
That
film.
is a good
I
movie.
saw it like once and it was
That's
good.
a good one. That's a good
Yeah.
one. 2 more. You got any more?
Oh my gosh.
This is my podcast now. I'm interviewing you.
All right, cool.
Hi, my name is Timothy Conley. I'm hosting Real Life Real Beauty on. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
What else have I seen?
You haven't
Dude,
seen- you
I
seen
haven't.
movies.
Here I am,
Dang.
having a filmmaker. But on that note, I did want to transition to I've helped you make a lot of movies.
You have.
We've made a lot.
Don't look up a lot of them.
Don't look. Actually, you. What about the Doritos? Doritos is
It
good.
does exist.
Yeah. Anyway, if you
It's
can
just
find it on
hurt
the internet,
so much.
Timothy tells us how to make Doritos, and it's really funny.
It's so painful.
Anyway,
It's so bad.
but yeah. So Timothy,
The
just
whole
kind
thing's underexposed to the point where it's just anyway. Continue.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
I was just gonna do this really nice sweet bit where I'm like, oh, like me and Timothy, we're best friends. We grew up, like we
Were.
were,
Dang.
and then I mean we still are, I guess, but like, anyway, words. But yeah,
We made a lot of things.
we did. We even tried to make a podcast.
We made 2 episodes.
Yep.
And then never again.
Never again. Yep.
And,
The name was great though. It was
what was the name?
Well,
Life at its worst. or
The
something like that?
Basics,
Oh, The
Life at its
Basics,
Worst,
Life at
yeah.
its worst. Yeah, that was good.
it was good.
We did an episode on toilets or something, didn't we?
We wanted to do an episode on cleaning bathrooms because we both have janitor experience in high school because formative parts of our lives. But yeah, I wanted to transition to dude. You won an award. You made a film
did.
and you won an award.
Well, I won 3.
You won 3 awards. Okay, so tell us about your film.
So I made a short film called Happy Non-Entity. It's on YouTube and Vimeo. You can look it up. It should be the first thing that comes up. And I've been submitting it to festivals every month. And currently, I'm a semi-finalist in 1, and I've won 2 others. So one of them was a monthly award in, I'm probably gonna say this wrong, but it's Cannes. It's not the Cannes Film Festival or Cannes, however you say it, but it's in the same city. So that's cool that I won something in France. That made me very excited. But yeah,
Nice.
I'm very proud of the film.
Yeah. Well, dude, how was the movie making process for that?
It was interesting. It was very strange. So that was the first time I had a legitimate budget. I say legitimate. It was like $500. That's not very legitimate. But I already had the gear. If you count the cost of the gear, it was a lot more. But I rented out an Airbnb that someone I know, Emily Steele, who's another filmmaker from around here, or not around here, from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She recommended to me, and me and another guy. We didn't even have a skeleton crew. It was more like a femur crew, to be fair. It was me, a DP, and the actor in this house. And we filmed 2/3 of the film, knocked it all out, did a lot of very, what's the name of the guy who did Tree of Life? I don't know, that kind of filmmaking where it's like, I don't know, that looks cool. Let's see how that looks on camera, and just kind of feeling out the space. So we filmed probably like 4 or 5 hours worth of footage, and I edited it down about 7 minutes. So that was crazy. But then directly after that, the week after, we filmed a large scene in outdoor space that you were there for, where I called a bunch of my friends and did this open call to people I know.
Yeah.
And we had this big party scene with a DJ and food and pizza.
Yeah, Clayton, he played the music.
Clayton, he was on here, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's been on the show.
But that was a lot of fun. It was great to see people come out and support and make the film. But that's like a 30-minute intro, or 30-second intro. My bad, not 30 minutes. But, so overall, the film's around 7 minutes long. But editing was pretty straightforward. Writing was interesting. It was based on, highly inspired. I can't say based on because of legal reasons. So it was highly inspired by an old French film called The Man Who Sleeps. And there's an English dub from that Shelley Duvall did. It's on YouTube. It's actually really good. But my only problem with the movie is it's like an hour and a half, but it feels like it could be told in like 10 minutes. So I was like, wait a minute, I could do that. So I wrote a 10-minute version with a modern twist, or like 21st century twist, and made it. And I was very surprised that it actually turned out. So
Nice,
my
man.
first legitimate short film that wasn't just, hey, you want to make something? So very
Dude.
proud.
That's exciting. Noah, you are also a filmmaker. What questions do you have?
Yeah, so I was going to ask you a little bit about the writing process,
for it.
but like you said, kind of pulling influences from like other sources and other like I guess aesthetics, like the black and white aesthetic. Was that a choice or was that something that like
That was a choice. Yeah, I
Okay.
wanted it to feel a little explanation about what the movie is. It's about this guy who's at this party, and he decides that he's going to sort of separate himself from everybody because he already feels isolated when he's at this party. So the rest of the film is him at his house while his conscience or some other entity is talking down to him the whole time. So I wanted to film it in a way where since I wasn't able to build a set, we knew, okay, we got to somehow make this feel just drab and just isolating. And something I hear pretty consistently with people who are like extremely depressed or whatever is color kind of leaves the room. So I was like, well, an easy way to do that is just cut the color out. So we had 2 cameras. One was just shooting grayscale straight on. That was a Sony camera that my DP had. And then we shot with my Fuji camera with a red filter. So some shots are kind of soft, and red filters change how the color interacts with the black and white. So like yellow's
Yeah.
really bright, blue's really dark. So sometimes like close-ups of his face or other things, we would use that to create this weird kind of texture. And then most of the time we just use the grayscale and added contrast in later. So the black and white was a deliberate choice to try to create the right feel for something so short like that.
Yeah, and when talking about like budgets and when you have to be careful with a budget, black and white is always a safer bet because
true.
again, you save lighting, you save time on lighting, you save a lot of money in that area, and it allows you to shoot outdoors a lot more, I feel like. And then again, like you said, being in an Airbnb, it allows you to play with natural light a lot easier.
Well, so I do a lot of photography, and black and white's my favorite form of doing it because it lets you play with. A lot of people think you just play with texture with black and white, but you're really just playing with light because every single shade is just a different type of light and color. So when we're shooting black and white, we're really just playing with light, and we're not having to worry about getting a colorist or somebody on there to make sure our colors are consistent in the way we want, and we're actually taking an editing step out of the process with the black and white. At least for video, for photo, you usually just have a very flat black and white image. You still have to do a lot of color editing, but so it saved us time, but it also saved us money. So
And I guess that kind of is the same thing with the narration as well, because
Yeah.
again, you save on audio equipment, which is a huge, like, that's my biggest thing when I start up projects and want to start up projects is finding equipment, boom mics, shotgun mics, lav mics, all of them are so difficult to get together. And then again, not all really good cameras have audio ports.
100%.
So you have to have like the little tiny transmitter ports, and then you got to sync it up, and it just becomes a really, really tough process.
Yeah, it's a whole nother ball game because like you can
Yeah.
spend all this time learning about how the camera works, and you have to spend the same amount, if not more, on how audio works. So
Absolutely.
with this one, I knew I didn't have the money or funds to get an audio guy on set or the equipment for that. So when I saw the original film, The Man Who Sleeps, most of it is narrated, and I was like, okay, well, if they can do that for an hour and a half and it works, there's got to be some way I can do that for like 10 minutes. There's got to be, because there's always a joke that like the short film everybody makes is a guy gets out of bed and then somebody talks over it, and that's like everybody's first short. And I knew I had to do something similar, so I made a few in the past. Benjamin
Yeah.
was in one. And is he coming on? Or you can mute that if you need to. Sorry,
Yeah, I don't think so. Oh, no, it's fine.
But I think it turned out for this one because it doesn't really feel like narration as much as it feels like a thought process or a thought bubble or another person behind the camera like talking. It feels like another character for the film. And actually, Michael Lindley helped record that narration, and his wife Lacey, who is a phenomenal voice actress, helped us out with that. So
Definitely. I watched it a few times, and I just was really like, I don't know, it's really good. Like it keeps you on edge. Like I didn't know what was gonna happen the first time. I was like, okay, this is going through. I watched it with some friends too, and they were like, they were really into it. They were like, this is really cool. I was like, this won awards, y'all. Like this is a big deal.
yeah, I'm very proud of it. It turned out a lot better than I thought it would. Definitely. And Enrico, the guy who starred in it, he does a great job. He actually coordinated all the costumes and everything for me too. At the very end, there's a scene with the ski mask, and I could not find a ski mask for the life of me because at Walmart or any of these places, and I didn't ask him to bring one, but he brought one, and I was just like, yes, let's go, we can actually do this, and so everything panned out in the end. That was really awesome. And huge shout out to Benjamin, the DP. He's a legend.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he was coming up with. We shot this whole scene in the kitchen. I had to cut out. It was awesome, but I didn't have any narration to fit over it. So you just see the very beginning of it where he opens like a microwave and everything, but it's still legend. Guys, it's great.
Dude.
I appreciate you giving me more views.
Absolutely. You probably have like 20 more views by
I'll
now
take it.
because
I'll
like
take
everybody else has watched it. So
Thank you.
Dude, that's awesome. I was gonna ask, like, so you've wanted to do, so like, it's been kind of cool just seeing you for a very long time, like trying to get into this field of filmmaking, and you're always like, oh, well, I gotta like submit to I gotta make another film. I gotta like submit to this. Like, I've just kind of seen you go on this journey, and it's really cool. You've like hit this milestone where you're like,
Thank
hey,
you.
I'm getting somewhere.
We're
And I'm
making
like,
progress. We're trying.
yeah.
We're trying.
It's so exciting to see. Like, I was gonna ask, like, what is like, I don't know, this is a very ethereal question, but what has your
Ethereal?
story been?
Oh, my story.
I mean,
When
you could just
my
say what
story,
happened,
like my history, or like what's the kind of story? I'm
so
telling?
like, yeah, let me specify. So, like, you write your scripts, you're a
Yeah.
photographer, you said, you film. Like, I know, if I understand correctly, you're an aspiring filmmaker.
I
Like,
try.
you wanna get to be like a director
I'd love
kind
to.
of thing.
I'd love to be in a director's position. I'd love to try to be the competition of some of my heroes. But
Yeah. So, like, where did that start? What?
how much time you got?
I don't know.
All right, well,
I'll really
I've always
end.
wanted to try to do something with storytelling or art. So I tried to do like VFX for a while, and I remember I made terrible Minecraft animations
Yes.
back in the day. They were so bad. They were horrible, but I was so proud of it when I was like 11 or whatever. So I did that for a while, and then I found a program that did VFX for like lightsabers.
Yes.
And so I would get my little camcorder guy, a little point and shoot or whatever it was. We had a bunch of cameras, and I'd take you and a bunch of the guys out back to my house with this plastic lightsabers, and I'd say, all right, just beat each other up. And then I just film it, and I just run around you guys and like get close and back and do all this stuff. And I don't know, I was like 12, 13 when we were doing that. And then I thought the fun part was editing in the lightsabers and making that. And then I realized I enjoyed just running around with the camera, filming you guys way more than that. And then I was in some plays because I had a bunch of friends who were constantly trying to get me to help them out at this little local theater that no one would go to. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. It was really weird. But so I've done a little bit of everything when it comes to the filmmaking process, and I realized that filmmaking is culminating all of those things. So in high school, I was very much like, all right, I want to just make a movie. I don't want to be in a specific role outside of like a director or producer. I want to just make a film. So that's my end goal, is just to make a feature at some point. But yeah, so, and photography was part of that. I got a camera to learn how cameras work to film, and then I realized, oh, I actually really like taking these pictures. This is kind of fun, and now I have a job as a photographer, so that worked out as well.
Yeah, nice.
So in brief summary, that's the story. But
Cool.
in a more like philosophical sense, the story could be like, I always liked movies, but I like the wrong kind of movies. I like big action films and like CGI stuff, and then I realized that story actually mattered more, like actually filming you guys versus the editing. Because I mean, my dad would watch Marvel movies constantly throughout the year, and he'd take me. That was the kind of thing that he and I did together. We'd go to the theater and get to talk about afterwards. It gave us something that we both understood and would talk about. But eventually, we were going to go see Iron Man 3. I still haven't seen Iron Man 3. And we pull in the AMC, and Dad's like, all right, I'm sorry, I lied to you. We're not seeing Iron Man 3. I bought tickets to see this movie called 42 with Chadwick Boseman. And we went and saw that, and I was so mad. I was like, I'm not going to like this. I want to see Iron Man 3. Dad going, and we went in, and it was really good. And I was like, wow, you can just have a movie about people just kind of doing stuff. Nothing blew up in that movie. Nothing exploded. And yet it was good. How does that work? And it blew my mind. So from then on, I realized this, started going down the rabbit hole of dramas and things. I was still like, that was before high school or anything. And now here we are. So.
Cool, man.
That's like really unique, like having that, like, I guess, eye-opening experience of being like so subjected to like action and just chaos in film.
It was
see
just
like
entertainment, and then out of nowhere,
yeah,
I was like, oh, there's like substance. What's this?
yeah, substance in film.
I thought you can only do this in books.
You don't see it in film very much anymore, but no, yeah, 42. That's a great film
a good
about
movie.
Jackie Robinson.
That's a good
Like I
movie.
love that film.
They filmed it in Chat. They filmed a lot of it in the old baseball stadium because it was one of the few old ones that are still up.
Really,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I went to college, and my professor was like, I was an extra in that movie because they just need people to go down to the stadium. And I was like, what? But, yeah. Anyway.
I will say it's like I don't know. I guess kind of like feeding off of it and kind of my experience of like
Yeah.
like being subjected to like dramas and stuff. Like
Yes.
as a kid, my parents would like sit me down and let me watch like the age appropriate dramas.
Right.
So like I'd be watching movies like Bagger Vance and movies like just real dramatic pieces of work,
That's awesome.
rom-coms and such. And it was like I got to see all of that. But what like drew my attention was like Jurassic Park and Star Wars and
yes.
Marvel. And again,
Yes.
even though I was able to like see all this and I was like able to appreciate it,
Yeah.
I still was like, hey, I love this, and this. Love Star Wars. Love Star Wars.
Star Wars is good.
I have mixed feelings with Star Wars because I used to love it so much. I was the biggest fan, and then Disney bought it, and
Yes.
everything went. And now I don't have Disney Plus, so I'm not caught up in anything, and I'm busy, so I don't have time to catch up on anything. And it's just like, man, I'm just kind of out of the loop, and I don't know what to think anymore.
It used to be so like mainstream that
Yeah.
everybody knew everything about it.
Now it's hard to know everything about it.
There's
Yeah.
so many different TV shows. I mean, there's Lego shows that like somehow
are.
play
Yeah.
roles
Yeah.
into like the whole Star Wars universe, and it's like I don't have time for
Yep, exactly.
20 episodes of
And
Lego brick
Marvel's doing
builders
that
or
now
something.
with all their shows and everything. So all the major.
yeah.
I don't even want to get into that.
Yeah, that's not even. Let's not even touch Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
So-
dear.
Anything Disney touches
Just
immediately
dies.
becomes like kid friendly and like
But then it dies.
sad and depressing, and it dies. Like it literally does.
Oh no.
It's sad. It's very sad.
Hey, we got some gems. I don't know if y'all have seen Andor. You haven't seen Andor.
I've
Have you
seen the
Andor?
first 3 episodes.
Okay.
Of Andor.
I've seen the first episode.
Okay.
It was good. But it was at a different college that they snuck into a classroom and were like, hey, we're watching Star Wars in a classroom. You want to like break in with us? I'm like, I don't even go to this college, but okay. And I
Hey.
drove and it was fun.
Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh.
Mandalorian though, I like that. I like
Nice.
the I haven't even started the new season.
I've only seen the first episode because of you.
Really,
Well, because again, I don't have Disney Plus, so I don't even.
it's worth watching. I think
It really is. Yeah, The
I-
Mandalorian is.
I do
Mandalorian was
love John
groundbreaking.
Favreau. He's awesome. I
he's a
love everything he
great
touches.
filmmaker. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a bumper sticker because there's also Dave Filoni who did like the Clone Wars and
Yeah.
stuff. I saw a bumper sticker that said Favreau Filoni 2024 on it. It was awesome, but
My
because they're the
vote.
two guys that actually care, and Disney just doesn't care. So it's almost this
No,
battle,
literally.
and it's just crazy to me.
It really makes you like sit there and reflect on how like pitiful the Mandalorian would be without Favreau, like
Exactly.
behind the
Oh.
wheel. It would be atrocious. I don't think I could watch it.
No.
Favreau's such a good storyteller. Like he actually understands like
Yeah,
writing
he
arcs
cares.
and
And
yeah.
Like like going back, I can't believe I'm bringing up Marvel again. But you look at the first Iron Man film, right? And
Yeah.
his influence on that and how that actually made it kind of work. And you can kind of blame all of Marvel on him to a sense.
Mhm.
It's man. But
You were talking about meaningful films, and you're like how like Jurassic Park and Star Wars got you into. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, this. You're like, oh, I'm all about this.
Mhm.
Yeah, when I was little, I want to say Star Wars was. I remember Dad like we would go to the was it Blockbuster? Yeah, and we would get the DVDs.
Oh, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we it was always fun to just go with him.
I think
rent
I
the
went in that
DVD.
Blockbuster once, and then
Yeah.
they closed, and I never went.
Yeah.
That was sad.
But I remember, yeah, we had the we watched like all 6 because at the time it was 6, and then the random like 2D animation Clone Wars ones that were fun. Before
Yeah.
Clone Wars was a thing, the animated one.
I remember when Clone Wars came out. I was like 6
Yeah.
years old, and it was like in theaters, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, a cartoon Star Wars in theaters!" Because
that was groundbreaking.
I don't know if y'all know, but like, you have the Clone Wars, and then before that, there was like a small little series of like 8 episodes of this weird, like you said, 2D
Yeah.
cartoon comic-looking version.
I had one of those on. I think there were 2 seasons of that, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was like 2
I
seasons.
had one of those on CD or like something like a Blu-ray or whatever. I don't think I have it anymore, but it was awesome.
I love those. Those were kind of dark though. There were
Yeah.
some very crazy scenes in there.
Even the show after, the longer one that they did the last season on Disney Plus. I
Yeah.
haven't seen yet. I need to. 'Cause
Oh, that's good.
The writing on that was great. Just what they did with Ahsoka and everything was awesome, and how they made Anakin's arc make more sense.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was epic.
Yeah.
But yeah, while we're talking about films, I don't have a lot of experience with films, but Jurassic Park, in my opinion, is very high up there. It is so amazing.
Jurassic Park will always be like my childhood film, I guess, because that's what inspired me to be like in filmmaking. Is I watched Jurassic Park and
That
I
seems
said,
to be a consistent
"Ooh,
thing. Anytime I ask somebody about film, they're like, "Oh yeah, it was Jurassic Park," and I
Really?
hadn't seen that till way later.
wow!" I was like
Yeah.
3 years old, 4 years old when I saw Jurassic Park.
That's
Like,
awesome.
I was
That's
like
awesome.
terrified, but I was like,
This is
how does this
crazy.
work? So
Yeah.
I would watch bonus features on how they made Jurassic Park when I was 6 years old.
That's
And
awesome.
I'd sit there and be like, okay, Spielberg does this, this, and this.
Yeah, it's
And like
crazy.
I would watch that, and it started with Star Wars.
Man.
And then again, I grew up in the DVD
Yeah.
era. So like I would watch all the behind the scenes on like
Yeah.
everything and everything.
amazing.
So like I don't know, that's where my film like shot up,
That's
and that's
awesome.
where it comes from, I guess.
That's awesome.
And of course, we have to. While we're talking about excellent movies, we have to talk about Lord of the Rings. So,
Yes,
we do?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, we have to.
Oh my goodness. I was just gonna say it's good. Like
It
I
is
feel like
good.
there's a delicate balance of CGI and like practical effects,
Yeah, but
and
they're-
both Jurassic Park and Lord of the Rings did
Yeah, but they're
wonderful.
trying to make that a franchise thing now, and you had the Rings of Power. Now they're gonna reboot everything, and it's just
It's
It's
frustrating.
just frustrating. Anytime something that happens that gets so big, they try to milk it, and I just get sad. I think it's one of the reasons why like studios like A24 are doing so well, because people are like, "Oh, this is an isolated story that's weird. I'm down," and then they get into it. And it's
Dude,
like,
Marcel the Shell.
that was, yeah, that was
We
one-
gotta
that
talk
was
about Marcel the Shell.
Marcel the Shell.
Watch
A24.
Marcel the Shell.
Yes.
It's good.
Um,
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
if you haven't seen Marcel the Shell, it's about this little guy named Marcel. Everybody loves. He's really nice.
he's a shell.
He's a shell. He's got shoes on and an eyeball.
Yep.
That's it. He used to have a big family in this house, and then they all got taken away. And now it's just him and his grandma, and he's trying to keep his grandma like healthy and whatnot, and like take care of the house. And the owners of the house turned into an Airbnb. And this guy, this is a long explanation. This guy shows up, and he's a documentary filmmaker, and he's like, "There's this talking shell in my house, so I'm gonna film him." So it's this little documentary about this talking shell. That the stakes and the like drama keep escalating to areas you do not think it's gonna go, but make perfect sense when it gets there. So by the end of it, you're just emotional, and it's just a beautiful film. I
So
saw an
beautiful.
ad for it while we were in a group chat. It was you, me, and 2 other guys, Clayton and Gabe, and we were all talking about like art films, and because I was talking about how you haven't seen anything like artsy or anything like that.
Fair.
You've seen mainstream stuff mostly, and I was like. And then I opened up Instagram, and I had this talking shell on my feed that was in theaters. I like, there's a talking shell in theaters made by A24. We're going to watch it like this weekend. I don't even know if it's good, but we're going to go see it. And I took you and a couple other guys,
Yep.
and it was awesome. It was good. But
If it's A24, I always go check it out. Like I watched Tar recently.
don't spoil anything.
Oh, you haven't seen Tar
I want
yet?
to so bad, but I don't have time. It's,
Tar, if you love music, Tar is gonna like be your film.
I love Kate Blanchett. She's
Yes, Kate
amazing.
Blanchett's amazing.
You know Gladriel, her. She's yeah. Anyway.
And I'm trying to think
don't know
who
actors.
directed it. I know it off the top. It's gonna take
I
me
don't
a
know.
second.
They're great though.
Yeah, they are great. I know who it is. It just can't. It's not in my mind. But yeah, A24. A24 is.
I haven't seen The Whale yet either.
Yes, I need to see that. I haven't. I'm excited because again, I love Brandon
so-
Fraser.
I have no idea what's going on.
You're so lost.
I was-
You're gonna come over and we're gonna binge stuff.
Okay.
And I guess you've seen a few
Yeah.
higher end films. You've seen like La La Land. And
Yeah, I was about to say, like, in terms of music, like, the first three that come to my head where I'm like, the music was an integral part of the movie and I just love it. It's like How to Train Your Dragon, La La Land, and Interstellar. Those are just so.
Oh.
Oh, and Lord of the Rings.
That's
Lord of the
good.
Rings has a great.
Oh, okay. Are you guys gonna
Soundtrack.
binge Oppenheimer and Barbie back to back? Are you guys gonna do it?
Probably not.
I want to watch Oppenheimer so bad.
Or are you gonna see Barbie though? Are you gonna see it?
They come
I
out
think
the
I'm
same
getting
day.
dragged to see Barbie.
They're coming out on
so
the same day though, and it's like
And-
a few days before my birthday. I'm getting messages in my DMs all the time from people I know being like, "We're gonna watch both on the same day, and we're gonna dress up, and you're coming." And I'm like, "All right," but
All right,
the thing with
then.
Barbie is it drives me insane because on paper it looks like an amazing movie. Like
Mhm.
I love the director, I love the writer, I love Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling said it's the best script he's ever read in an interview, which is a crazy statement because he's been in some wild movies.
Yeah.
And then like the original trailer was a parody of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I love
like,
that.
Like,
I'm just
like
gonna
they know
say.
what they're doing, but it's still Barbie. Like how is it good though? If it's like so like the two things don't make sense in my head, but it's happening and it's coming out, and I guess I have to see it now. But
I will say if there's a scene in the movie like the Space Odyssey
Yeah,
scene
if
with
it
the
happens.
like obelisk, like
yeah.
oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Just
Then obviously, we all know Oppenheimer's gonna be good. It better be good. At least, yeah.
it's Nolan. I've never been let down by Nolan. I know a lot of people are like, well, Tenet wasn't
I
that
like
good. I love Tenet.
I loved it when I saw it in theaters. My jaw
Yes.
dropped. Then I watched it at home, and it was just okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's made for the big screen. He intentionally like this has to be seen in theaters.
Yes, and it came out like right after COVID, like really
that
shut
gap.
down
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, it kind of hurt it, but
I remember it left such a good impression on me. I literally went and watched it on my birthday that year, and then like 2 hours later, I went to Walmart and bought the DVD,
that's awesome.
and then went home and watched it another
That's
time that
awesome.
night. I was like,
That's
I gotta
awesome.
watch it again.
I do love the score on that. I think it's pretty underrated. I
Yes.
really like the score on
And
Tenet.
I don't think it's Hans Zimmer. I
It's
think he
not.
worked with somebody else.
It's I think it's the same guy who did The Mandalorian.
Mm.
I believe so.
It's not Alvin Silvestri, is it?
No, it's the something. I will Google it real fast.
We need to have like somebody over there googling. So,
Ludwig.
hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
Ludwig.
fact checker.
A fact checker.
How do you say that guy? Go. I'm so sorry, Ludwig. I know you're not watching this, but Ludwig, this guy. He
Go on,
did
listen.
the guy who did The Mandalorian and Black Panther and Creed.
Okay.
And all that. He did.
Awesome.
He's great.
I will say his best. Nolan's best like film score is definitely Interstellar for me. Like I can sit there and listen to that soundtrack over
yeah.
and over.
And it's
and
iconic.
over.
You see all those videos. People will go to those pianos in malls and they'll play it over everything else. It's
Mhm.
it's a good. Yeah.
The music itself gives me an existential crisis every time I hear it.
Yes, I'm over here like questioning. Am I like a 4-dimensional being? Like what is a
What's
4-dimensional being?
going on?
Oh my goodness, it's such a good movie.
That movie made me love Matthew McConaughey. I
Yes.
really into his stuff. It's just like, yeah, man.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I had a thought earlier. You were talking about like you're talking about how like the corporations they can like milk the stuff, and it's like the new Lord of the Rings or whatever.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I would just say like something I like to do is I just go with the open hand. Honestly, Gabriel has kind of taught me a lot about that. Gabriel Cathy.
I
he's
don't
just
when he
like-
does that, though.
He's just like, hey, you should listen to this song or you should watch this. I'm like, you're excited.
I
So
always Google the
cool.
thing after where he sends me something, and I always do research. But
see, I did research when you send me something because it's usually really dark.
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Oh my
Honestly, that's
gosh.
reasonable. That is reasonable.
Well, on that note, what are you working on right now? Like in
Right
terms of
now,
filmmaking?
I'm making a mockumentary that we're filming at the end of this month, and you are in it.
Yep.
You're playing yourself.
Yep.
Well, a caricature of yourself.
Cael Sumerlin. Yep.
Yeah. There's a scene that way. Hopefully, will go well. Where you smash a bottle over my head, and I gotta figure out how to do like prosthetics for that because I have a big gash right here. But it should be good. I'm aiming for like 30 to 40 minutes. It's gonna be the plot is about my 21st birthday party, which
Okay.
isn't actually in April. It's gonna be way later. I'm hoping to release it on my 21st birthday.
Ah, nice.
Everybody who goes to the party starts having an existential crisis, and everything kind of falls apart. And through our individual crises, we all help each other sort of get back to a normal point and It's a little funny, mostly dark, and it should be really good. I'm very excited.
Cool. So I'm definitely gonna release this podcast before your birthday, so it better be good.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
hope it is. And I hope yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, this is the segment where we have final questions. So Noah,
Yes, I
what is
love
your-
this question.
Oh,
So, what is your favorite past theater experience?
theater experience.
Like, just what captivated you the most?
Sorry for the dead air. So when me and my dad would go see movies, we would go at like the discount times, and everybody was at work. So usually it was just
Matinees,
us.
yeah.
But every so often we would go, and there would be a handful of people there. The two things that come to mind immediately is the second Hobbit movie came out, and there's a cliffhanger at the end. Smog, Benedict Cumberbatch is flying down. He's like, "I'm fire, I'm death," and all this stuff. Then it ends, and some guy right in the middle of the theater stood up, started just swearing at the TV and all this stuff, and threw his popcorn and walked out. And it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen at the end of a movie. And then the other time, I really don't like Marvel, but I grew up with Spider-Man. I watched the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show. So when No Way Home came out, me and a bunch of the guys went to the theater for opening
Yeah.
night. It was packed. Tons of people were in costumes and stuff. People were throwing popcorn in the air over us and other people. And it was a packed theater that I had never been in before. And everybody was just going crazy. And it was awesome. But I think my favorite theater experience was this one time after class. Me and two other students were really just bored and proud of ourselves for making like it was the end of the semester. We'd finished everything. We didn't think we would finish the stuff we were working on. So we said, let's just go watch something. We're right next to downtown chat. We'll just go to like the IMAX or whatever. And they were showing this film. I don't remember the name of it, but it was just some indie horror, like low budget, no real plot, trying to be like an artsy lighthouse type movie, but wasn't succeeding. And we sat right in the middle of the theater, and we just made fun of it the entire time. It was the three of us just yelling at the screen, having a good time. It was the exact opposite of what you want to do in a movie, but it was so much fun because there was nobody else there to stop us, and we think the employees thought we were drunk, but it was fine, and we left. So that's probably my favorite theater experience. But
I love it when you can go to like those times when nobody's gonna be there and you're like alone. I watched Bodies alone, and that movie was
Alone?
interesting
Yeah,
to
it's
watch
not-
alone. I was kind of checking over my shoulder I was like, is somebody gonna come in here and mess with me
Yeah,
just for
yeah.
fun?
I haven't seen that yet. Is it worth it? Because it seems interesting.
It's interesting, definitely, but you're gonna watch it and you're gonna be like, "This is so stupid," and then the end comes around and you're like, "Oh my, this makes so much sense."
That's cool.
And so it's
Very
like,
cool.
it's tough to get through the middle part, but
Okay.
it's funny if you like
Okay.
Pete Davidson. I love Pete Davidson,
Nice,
so
nice. Good old Pete.
Okay, Timothy, and I always end my segment of the podcast, I always end it with a random question. So my random question for you today is, would you rather
Oh no.
have
Don't you dare say bacon. Don't you dare
Infinite
say
bacon.
Come on, man. Why'd you gotta...
and we're gonna leave it right there.
Oh,
So
come on,
guys, thank you so
hold
much
on. No,
for
you gotta explain why you said that. You gotta
No,
explain that. Yes, you do.
all right.
I will. There's a podcast I listen to a lot called The Chuckle Sandwich. And on The Chuckle Sandwich, they ask their guests at the end, and then I've been asking Cael this every so often. They ask you this question that's a, what's the word?
So it's I don't know.
A paradox. It's impossible to answer because you can't have the answers.
Yeah.
So the question is, I'll ask you.
Okay.
oh,
That's-
yeah,
all right,
definitely.
Would you rather, and listen very carefully,
Okay.
Pay attention. Audio
Yeah.
listeners, pay attention. Would you rather have unlimited bacon, but no more games?
Like
Or-
video games.
Shh, I'll start over. Would you rather have unlimited bacon, but no more games? Or games, unlimited games, and no games? Do I need to say it again? I'll say it again.
No,
Would
you don't. Okay, we're done. Timothy,
what
thank you.
games? What games is the
Games.
question? What games though?
Like video games.
I know, but which video games?
All of them.
Like,
Infinite.
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
You
but,
obviously didn't
but
hear me,
what
I'll say it
games
again.
don't I get?
Would you rather have unlimited bacon, endless bacon, but no more video games? So in general, you can't play any games ever.
I'll take each.
Or games, unlimited games, and no games.
So which one are you gonna pick?
I mean, I like bacon, so like bacon.
But what about the games?
But you get unlimited games in the next one.
But I get no games. So?
So? Yeah, so that's why he said that, because it's just a joke we've been telling each other, and it doesn't make any sense, but it's fun. So
I just wanted to catch you off guard.
you
I'm
did.
very glad
I didn't
that I
expect
did.
that. I should have though. I'm coming on a podcast with you. I should have.
I mean,
about that.
my backup was like, do you like what's the correct way? The toilet paper the right side over, or like the wrong
Have
side
you seen
over?
people with this raw strength where they'll take the toilet paper roll and instead of putting it through, they'll do this and just make their own hole? Have you seen people do that?
I feel like I'm gonna have to put a graphic for this
You
one.
need to censor that what I just did.
No, I meant like I'll just put a picture because I know what you're talking about
You do.
in my head. No, I haven't seen it, but I can
okay.
imagine it. It's like where you take a Capri Sun
Or
and
have
then
you
you
seen
have
the
the straw
reload
and you
where
put it on
people
the
will
side.
take it off and on real fast? Anyway, I'm sorry.
Tactical reload.
Yeah, tactical reload.
Toilet paper. With that, thanks for coming,
You're
Timothy.
welcome. I appreciate you very much.
Thanks for coming up. It was great.
I think I dodged a bunch of questions in this. I didn't answer them, but I'll take it.
Hey, it makes it more fun. Listeners, check out his stuff. He makes movies and takes pictures. So
Right.
follow his Instagram. I'll have links on social media and YouTube. Yeah, so be sure to follow him. Follow Real Life Real Beauty.
And also follow A Cup of Film on Instagram at A Cup of Film Podcast.
There you go.
Yeah. So Noah, thanks for the collaboration. This
Yes,
was
thank you.
been a
Cam.
blast.
It was so much fun.
We didn't talk to this guy, audio listeners. We got this little Lego minifigure on the desk.
He's still processing the bacon right now.
Yeah, we didn't interview him, but our fourth guest,
yeah, that's okay.
Stanley Kubrick, he's here. Anyway, I had to say that before. My apologies.
Nice.
When we started talking about Space Odyssey, like I looked at that
You
break.
were
I was like,
waiting for me to say
I was
it,
waiting
yeah.
for it to come.
I was gonna try to fit in, but then we moved